Family. What to do, everybody? Now, I posted, I believe that was yesterday, that I have a 3i Atlas update coming soon. And wow, I'm gonna go ahead and show this video, family. But I'm really feeling under the weather. I came down with a bad cold over the weekend, so I've been dealing with that. It seemed like it just really hit me hard last night, but I was feeling it all the way ever since Thursday. So I'm not gonna make that a burden to y'all. So I got to do this, and I want to say this before I show the video, family. Now, you got a lot of these people who are doing YouTube videos about 3i Atlas and stuff, and the ones who still stuck on it's a comet, those are the ones who are terrified. Even though they may not sound like they're terrified, you know, with an object doing all this kind of stuff out there in our solar system, moving at those speeds, you know, unimaginable, unheard of speeds, and slowing down, stopping, you know, sending signals and stuff like that. Comets, rocks, and asteroids are just rocks and ice. They don't do things like 3i Atlas is doing. So people who are still stuck, I'm talking about NASA and anybody else who are still stuck, that won't go to the next step and say that it could be, you know, artificial object, you know, not a natural object. It's something that was created by some who are very intelligent. I don't believe in aliens and extraterrestrials and stuff like that. I do not. You know, it could very well be some stuff out there. You know, Yah is the creator, but, you know, my spirit, you know, would like to say that it's part of the heavenly hosts, okay, and that they're on a mission from Yah. Okay, so here it is.
On December 19th, 2025, the interstellar object known as 3i Atlas will pass at its closest distance to Earth. Space agencies around the world continue to monitor it closely, and new research data suggests that it's one of the strangest and most inexplicable objects ever to visit our solar system. The object was first discovered by astronomers on July the 1st, 2025. When it was within the orbit of our gas giant Jupiter at a distance of 327 million miles from Earth. Now, moving at an incredible speed of 137,000 miles per hour, it's rapidly approaching our planet. That's nearly twice as fast as most asteroids traveling within the solar system. Some scientists, including Avi Loeb from Harvard University, believe that what's approaching us may not just be a comet or asteroid from another star system, but possibly a spacecraft from an alien civilization. Moreover, Loeb doesn't exclude the possibility that the object may be using some form of disguise to appear as a normal comet. And if that's true, that disguise might already be failing. Recently, 3i Atlas has exhibited strange gravitational behavior that scientists can't yet explain. Its brightness also raises questions. It's far too intense to be caused by reflected sunlight. It almost appears as though the object has its own powerful light source. Not long before that, scientists observed that 3i Atlas was almost unaffected after being hit by a massive solar flare, a burst of plasma and magnetic fields from the sun. It looked as though the object somehow deflected the solar outburst. There's something approaching, and no one can say with complete certainty what it is. Images of the object captured by various space agencies don't reveal its true shape or appearance. Until now, all we've had are photos showing a white dot against the backdrop of space. But recently, on October the 3rd, 3i Atlas passed at its closest distance to Mars. On that day, a European Space Agency spacecraft orbiting the red planet captured the most detailed image of the object ever taken. What appeared in those images raised even more questions than answers. We're about to address the following questions. Why are scientists at Harvard University increasingly convinced that the object approaching us might be a spacecraft from an extraterrestrial civilization? Can the extremely strange and atypical behavior of this object be explained rationally? How might one of the most mysterious cosmic signals ever recorded from 48 years ago be connected to 3I Atlas? And finally, what unexplainable details were revealed in the images taken from Mars orbit? October the 3rd of this year featured an event long awaited by NASA and European Space Agency specialists. The interstellar visitor that has caused such a stir in the scientific community approached Mars at its closest distance, just 18.6 million miles from its surface. By the time it happened, the Mars Express orbital station that studies the red planet had already been directed toward the coordinates where the interstellar traveler was expected to pass. Scientists hoped to get the first images of it from Mars orbit, but that didn't happen. The object's light turned out to be too dim for the station's optical instruments. Mars Express simply couldn't see it. At the same time, another orbital spacecraft, the ExoMars Trace Gas Orbiter, also attempted to capture images of 3I Atlas. Fortunately for scientists, it succeeded. In a series of obtained images, one can see a bright, slightly blurred spot moving toward the center of the frame, speeding away from Mars at an enormous speed. It's impossible to make out any details, since the object was around 18.6 million miles from the orbiter, whose instruments were designed primarily for observing the Martian surface from the height of just a few hundred miles. At first glance, the images look fairly ordinary, but once zoomed in and viewed frame by frame, something strange emerges. It appears as though 3I Atlas changes shape as it moves. Upon closer inspection, bright lights can be seen around a central square-shaped object, almost like they're separate fragments. They appear to move actively around it, flashing and shifting shape. It creates an impression that the object is escorted by other celestial bodies, serving as its protection. All of this seems strange, but according to
You see, family? Now that guy, Harvard guy, Avi Loeb, now he's the only one, that's saying that it may not be what NASA is saying, a rock, a comet, or asteroid. He's saying it could be like, extraterrestrial or alien aircraft or something like that. But like I said, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I believe in the heavenly hosts of Yah, and they do have many thousands of chariots. Okay, so and then another thing about the date of December 19th, the trajectory that 3I Atlas is flying on, by December 19th, that's when it's supposed to be at its closest to Earth in our solar system. And they figure that they can get some good shots at it, and get more detailed shots of it. But the thing went real close to whatever they had out there near Mars to get some close-ups. NASA, and they still didn't show the public. Matter of fact, they shut everything down. So it's like, if they do get some close-up of 3I Atlas by December 19th, when it comes closest to Earth, they're not going to show us anything other than what they've been showing us already. Maybe another country like China or somebody like that. But, I hope that flying aircraft come here and gather up the elect. Okay, so that's my hope and prayer and supplication up to Yah. But if not, that's gonna happen anyway. Okay, family, let me do something to take care of this cold. And until next time, family, one love and shalom.